I've been trying to figure this stuff out the simplest way possible. We had to get from there to here, and how did that happen, right? So we start with the simplest tools possible to create the simplest forms possible, and they will evolve into the shapes that we are so familiar with and love, right? And they will continue to get more and more and more complicated as they evolve and interact and coexist. And it's easy to get lost in those spaces. So my goal was to find the simplest way to get from here to there, to get from where we started to where we are now. Because there's so many ideas out there that put things far away, and I need to bring things closer to me. I need to bring things in. I do believe in humans. I do believe in our potential. And I do believe that people back long, long ago were just like us. And their experiences are carried with us in our genes, and in our papers, and on our rocks, and in our histories. So I want to know how we got from here to there. And I want to know why the stories changed and the symbols remained the same. And it's because as we gain information and knowledge, our interest in stories changes. We may have been interested in one thing for a while, but we're no longer, things become passé, and we want to identify ourselves in our generation. So we look at something in a different way, and so the symbols have to be adapted to us, because we will not adapt to them, and they're consistent and constant and forever. And so how do we maintain that consistency and permanence through our temporal attitudes, right? Our temporal behaviors, our temporary existence, because we as humans are ephemeral. So there are these concepts that need to be translated throughout that temporary fixture, temporariness. I know it's a temporary fixture, but that evolution is the fixture, right? Because then it's necessary. The movement is necessary. It maintains the stability of the constant. So coming back full circle, we're going to talk about circles, because everything comes from circles. We can start breaking parts down according to a line, a stick, right? What do we have? We've got the sun, which makes shadows. We've got sticks on the ground that show us the movement of the sun across the sky, right? And imply a circular fashion. They create these shapes, and one of the shapes that they create is an analemma. And the analemma is a figure 8 over and over and over. And it's not just one body that makes this shape. Any body that retrogrades can be tracked through the sky in its own version of an analemma. So these are constants within the movement, right? And it's very easy to measure. When I would do a bed along a fence, like say there was a flower bed or a long fence, and they wanted a flower bed along it, I would take my mattock. My mattocks had 36-inch handle on it, which gave me a 3-foot bed, right? It was about a yard. And I would take it, and I would put the butt of the handle against the fence, and I would put the point in the ground, and I would draw a line, and I would go the length of the desired bed. And I didn't really have to measure anything or use anything except the tool at hand to create that measurement. Now, if we have a stick and a shadow, and we know that it's tracing these shadows on the ground, we can use sticks and stones to mark where the shadow lies throughout time, and now we can calculate how long it will be until the peak of summer. How much more time do we have until winter arrives? What time of day is it according to what time of year is it? Do I have enough time to go get more firewood, or should I start preparing to bed down because it's going to be dark soon? You know, what animals are going to traverse the land according to what time of year it is? What time of day do they come? All of this is like pertinent information for survival, and it's easier to survive if you know what's coming when. We can also note that circular things exist. Circular objects exist. So by taking a stick and a pin, two sticks, tie them together with a string, and then trace one around the perimeter of the other, and you have a circle. The exact half of the whole, center being the length of that string. You can take that length of that string and trace it around the edge of your circle, and then bring it back to the center, and you have created a radian. You have created a measurement that tool, right? Like a unit of measurement that's scalable according to the circle that you made, the size of the circle. And now you can make a triangle using that same string, just sticks. Now we've got all that's needed to build circles and triangles. Why is that important? If we can create a circle and we can find a triangle within that circle, we can divide the circle into triangles and use those equidistant, equal measure, equal area to measure time. We can also use this unit circle, the circle, we can use it to measure distance, right? And so these are simple tools and simple shapes that allow us complex measure, all right? Because once we add them all together, we have the ability to calculate distance, predict time, and build according to the habits of what happens within each of those units. We now can create a perfect square. We can measure all kinds of things. Something that we notice as humans, since we're looking at things this way, certain things happen at certain vectors, at certain sections. These behaviors can be predicted throughout. So now I have the ability to measure great distance. I have the ability to make predictions far off in the future. And I have the ability to measure and build solid foundations without ever having to use an Arabic number, without ever having to calculate a formula. I can make all of these shapes. You can make all of these shapes. We can all predict what's going to happen in the future by simply turning a circle into triangular sections and watching them interact with each other.